Me. Halloween fast approaching, obviously, and with it comes fireworks every year. And despite the warnings just to be careful, there's always accidents, and also there's always distress for animals, in particular dogs. And again, this year we're being advised to look after our family pets and just to protect them from the worst, from the noise and the stress. Well, Kathleen Murray, our dog expert, joins us now. And it is a stressful time for dogs, especially if they happen to be outdoors and exposed to fireworks going off. It can be very distressing for them.
Well, it can be, especially if it's their first year and they've never heard them before and they don't know what they are. Some dogs are afraid of them when they hear them. Some dogs run out and bark. There's different reactions that dogs have. Some dogs cower in the corner and there's no pacifying them. They just get so upset and so fearful. So that's what I'm saying. Every dog has its own reaction to it. So depending on how your dog reacts, if it's one of these dogs that likes to run out and bark at them, then it's still afraid of them because it doesn't know what they are. It's not sure, but at least that reaction is better than whenever you look at a dog cowering and shivering, and that's quite upsetting to actually look at, you know. And some dogs do react that way. And if they do, then there are a few things that you can do to help. Well, number one is be incredibly careful about opening doors. Because if you open a door and a dog's scared, they'll bolt, and they could run out in front of a car, they could run off and get lost, and that causes extra anxiety for the dog, for you, for charities who find them landing on their doorsteps. There's a lot of knock-on effects to Halloween. And so, you know, try to make sure that if you open a door, that you either have the dog by the collar or the dog in your arms, or have another door that you have to open before you actually open the outside door, if you know what I mean. If there's like a porch or something, it just kind of as a buffer zone so the dog can't just charge past you and get out. So be careful of that.
Yeah, and I suppose it would be good advice to people just to try to have their dogs indoor as much as possible over the weekend when most of the fireworks are going off, and if they have to have exercise, then to do it during the day.
Yeah, well, that's a really good idea because the fireworks tend to go off mostly from about tea time onwards, where people are letting them go at different random times, you know. So during the day, make sure that your dog has had a good run somewhere or a good walk, you know, a lengthy walk, so that they're fairly tired and relaxed by the time it comes to that time of the evening, and that they've had their dinner and all before it comes as well, because sometimes if they start hearing things like that, they won't eat then because they're too scared. So, you know, have all that out of the way first, and then you can actually just sit down if you want on the floor beside your dog and have them lay their head on your lap or whatever while you're sitting watching TV or reading a book or doing whatever. Or you can just gently massage them as they're lying there so that they're feeling pretty relaxed. You know, you can put on a bit of music if you're going out somewhere so that they have something familiar or some noise in the background. My cat loves relaxation music, so you can try what you want, whatever works for your dog, like, you know. Yeah, things like that. Or there's calming coats that you can get as well. You know, they're like a little warm, fleecy coat that's nice and tight and snug on them. That can also make them feel a lot more secure for anxious dogs, you know.
Okay. Would it be better to keep them in a very quiet environment, like put them in a back room or down the hallway or something? Or are you better just to put them somewhere where there's a bit of music on or where the TV is on and normal activity?
Well, I'm one for believing and just go with the day, you know, have it like any other day. It's not a different. A shooter goes off like a bird shooter, or, you know, it's like thunder. They have the same reaction to things like that. Because dogs do react to your reaction very often. So if you're going about your business, you're putting the dishes in the dishwasher, you're making dinner, you're doing whatever you're doing, if you're just carrying on as normal, as if there was nothing happening, the dog will actually take courage from that. And feel more relaxed by that, because they'll think, well, it's not bothering them, so it can't be that bad, you know, and they see that you haven't died suddenly, so, you know, it means that they can actually relax a wee bit. So just keep your day as normal as possible, but if you notice that they are very upset, then have a place for them that they can go to in the corner of the kitchen or in the corner of a room, but try to keep them in the general area where other people are and there's activities and there's things going on around them. You can cover over a coffee table even, with a sheet or something, let them go underneath that if they feel better, you know. But other than that, keep things as normal as possible and try not to have big, long, lingering looks at them, pitying them and things, because then they'll really think there's something wrong if they see that, you know.
This could be particularly tough for those who rely on guide dogs or a comfort dog, and the effects can be so bad that some dogs aren't actually able to support their owners then afterwards and have to be retired. We've heard stories of dogs having to be retired early because of the stress that was caused simply by the loud bangs of fireworks going off at Halloween. They get so stressed out by it all that they just can't go outside, and they're not the same afterwards. So it's important that we, I suppose it is that the effects aren't understated, and that we are mindful and conscious as well. Those of us that have fireworks and we're setting them off, that we're conscious of the effect that they can have.
Yeah, well, if you try to keep them to the time when they should be going off, which is a celebration on Halloween kind of thing. If you try to keep them till that time, at least it's all happening within a short space of time, and it's happening all on the same time. But not everybody does that. People let them off here and there. Young ones trying them out. It's a bit of a novelty. You know yourself. It's every year it's the same thing. And it is hard for dogs, and it is hard for people with babies who are trying to sleep, and it's hard for a lot of things in the neighbourhood. But in general, try to keep your dog, as I say, close to you. Try to keep them that they can rely on you for strength. They can look to you to see that you're not upset in any way. Keep the routine as near to normal as possible. Exercise them early. But what you can do during the year, all year round, you can desensitize a dog to that, because a lot of the dogs that are used for guide dogs and that, they're already desensitized through their training to sudden noises, loud bangs, stuff like that, because they can't always be started and running off in the middle of things. So it's part of training to help them settle down. Now, you'll get dogs of different personalities. Some are a little more anxious than others, and they might need a wee bit more help than others. But desensitization in general is a big help to a lot of dogs, and by that I mean just getting them used to low-level noise first, sudden things going off, maybe something dropping in the kitchen, something like that they don't suddenly jump up and get startled by everything. Now, a lot of collies in particular are very easily startled and upset by noises. So just watch out for some dogs are a lot more sensitive than others.
Would it be,
sorry about the cough, and I'm just getting over the cold too.
I totally understand. A lot of that going around. Would it be fair to say that most dogs will get over this, that it's the one weekend in the year where there's just concentrated noise levels outside and bangs and bright lights and stuff, and that they will get over it, or is it a case where an awful lot of dogs, if they hear these noises, that it stays with them?
Well, if you've got a dog that's easily startled and that is noise sensitive to begin with, if that's not treated and that's not sorted, that actually gets a lot worse every year. Every single year that comes, that actually magnifies and gets worse. So you really do need to treat dogs that are very fearful like that to help to relax them a bit, because they end up eventually, the dog can get a heart attack in the end, because they just can't take the stress anymore. As they get older, their nerves are shot at that stage. So it is a good idea to work with them and help to settle them down. And there's an awful lot of different ways that you can do that, depending on the dog's personality, what they respond to and things, because every dog's an individual at the end of the day. So it's not a one thing fix everything,
Right. Finally, Kathleen, a question. My daughter wants to take the dog trick-or-treating, and I'm worried the dog will be startled by the fireworks. Should we take him?
It depends on the personality of the dogs. Lots of dogs are quite okay with things like that, but if you take a dog trick-or-treating, you could come to a house where there is another dog, and it could end up in a dog fight, especially with the children around, things like that. So that would be my biggest fear, more than the fireworks, that you're bringing your dog into other people's territories, and if a dog bolts past somebody out through the door, starts snarling behind the door, it could end up in a bad accident where somebody could get bitten. So be very careful if you're taking your dog out and going around houses,
Yeah, it's tricky.
I wouldn't advise it. Better to leave the dog at home for that. Take the dog for a walk later in the neighbourhood if you want.
Okay. Listen, thanks for that, Kathleen, and look after that cough now. It's just lemon and honey.
And happy Halloween to everybody.
Okay, thanks, Kathleen. Good luck to you.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Joe Gallagher Entertainment presents the world's greatest ABBA show. Direct from Sweden, Arrival, featuring original ABBA musician. Sunday the 8th of January, Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny. Tickets on sale from hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie. Follow us on Facebook, Joe Gallagher Entertainment.
Treat your family or friends to a hamper this Christmas from Kelly Centra, Letterkenny. Kelly's have great hampers